So MSNBC's Joy Reid, perhaps the most racist, miserable, unhinged person on planet Earth, gives one of the all-time worst takes I think that I have ever heard. I encourage everybody to watch this video all the way through because it encapsulates perfectly what is wrong with the Democrat Party. She just can't get over the fact that Donald Trump won the election and is trying to encourage her entire audience, all 11 of them, to be just as miserable as she is, and tell them that they need to cut off their family members if they voted for Donald Trump right before the holidays. But before we get into this video, make sure you guys hit the like button. I'd really appreciate it. It helps this video get out to more people. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a video. But let's get into it. Joy Reid talks to a Yale-trained psychologist, as if that's supposed to matter. I mean, this woman, if anything, proves why our higher education is such a joke. Our Ivy League schools used to be a prestigious institution, but now if you graduate from an Ivy League school, all it tells people is that you spent 4 years being indoctrinated in radical liberal ideology. But Joy Reid has this woman come on and tell people that they need to cut off their family members if they voted differently from them. Watch.
How do you interact with people who you know voted for this, right? If you are an LGBTQ person and you know someone in your family voted essentially against your rights, or you're a woman knowing that, this man was calling people the B word, J.D. Vance was literally calling Kamala Harris the trash and said, we're going to take out the trash. I know a lot of black women were incredibly triggered by that. And if you then meet somebody and you know they voted for the people who called you trash, or if you're Puerto Rican, you know someone voted that way, do you recommend, just from a psychological standpoint, being around them? We got the holidays coming up.
So I love that you asked this question because, there is a push, I think just a societal norm that if somebody is your family, that they are entitled to your time. And I think the answer is absolutely not. So if you are going into a situation where you have family members, where you have close friends who have voted in ways that are against you, like what you said, against your livelihood, and it's completely fine to not be around those people and to tell them why.
Now, don't get me wrong. Nobody is entitled to anybody's time. And if you have family members that are actually bad people, toxic people, then you shouldn't be around them. But if you're not going to be around somebody because they have different political views than you, then you need to get your brain checked out. I mean, Joy Reid is a 50-year-old person with no partner and no kids. So getting family advice from that person is like trying to get advice on how to run faster from somebody with no legs. And people like Joy Reid and the entire Democratic mainstream media are completely at fault here for the reason why their audience feels like their rights are going to be taken away, or black people are going to be back in chains, or women are now going to be dying on the street, because they're the ones pushing this fear-mongering and this dishonest rhetoric about what Donald Trump is trying to do. Donald Trump isn't going to take away anybody's rights or anybody's freedoms. But if you continuously call Donald Trump Hitler or a fascist every single day and try to convince your audience that the world is going to end if Donald Trump becomes president, it's your fault that they're so scared and they're so worried about the outcome of this election. My entire family are Democrats, and that has no bearing whatsoever on how I interact with these people. I love these people to death. They are my people. They are my family. And to even consider distancing myself from these people because of what they believe politically is an idea that would never cross my mind. But MSNBC makes their money on lies and deception and fear-mongering. Here she is saying, how can we explain to our children that Donald Trump is president? Watch.
And let me ask, how do you explain to children? If a child asks, why did the man who insults people, who's cruel, who did really vulgar, gross things that looked like a sexual nature on camera, and you had to take your kids away when he's on TV half the time because of the things he says and does, how do you explain to a kid why that person is the president?
I think we need to explain that there are a lot to our children, that there are a lot of people who have these mindsets about women, and a lot of people that have, very damaging and concerning mindsets about women, about Black people, about transgender people, and that these people exist. And so I think we should be very upfront with children about that, because there are people that supported them. And there are a lot of people walking around today that support that rhetoric and that language, and children should be aware of it. They should protect themselves, and we should help to protect them.
So let me get this straight, right? Because this is completely ridiculous. Drag shows and people expressing their wildest sexual proclivities and fetishes in public around children at pride parades is perfectly reasonable, perfectly normal, in fact, encouraged. But kids shouldn't watch Donald Trump because he's so vulgar that it's bad for them? I'm sorry, these people don't make a lick of sense and show their absolute delusion every time that they open their mouths. These people are just going to lose every single election for the foreseeable future. So it seems like every take she gives is just trying to top the stupidity of the previous one. So here she is asking, how do we tell little girls that America hates them, just hates women, hates girls? I mean, I just can't believe these people. Watch.
What should we say to little girls who were hopeful and who Kamala Harris was a role model, and and are now being, you have men online bullying women and saying, your body, my choice. And so that's for older, obviously young women, but for girls who are now devastated that it looks like this country really doesn't like women so much, and it doesn't like Black women specifically.
I would say that it's a time for mourning, and I would say it's a time to be sad, to be upset, and to let those emotions out, but also to know that we as Black women, we've been through a lot. Women have been through a lot. We are a resilient group, and we will move forward.
So because Kamala Harris didn't win the election, that means that America hates women, especially Black women? I mean, I just don't understand how these people come to these conclusions. Is the message that you're trying to send to little girls that there is no such thing as failure for them because they're women? And if there is failure, it's inherently because of sexism? How about telling little girls to be the best that they can be, work hard, and they can become anything? That's more of a positive message, and a message that actually reflects the reality of American society. They keep trying to say that Donald Trump wants to take away their rights. 45% of women voted for Donald Trump. So obviously, this narrative doesn't work or doesn't stick. They just can't accept the fact that abortion and killing babies isn't this issue that everybody agrees on as being some sort of right or health care. Apparently, enough women don't agree with that. If all women thought that abortion was top of the priority issue, there are more women voters than male voters. They could have come together and they could have elected Kamala Harris to be the president. But they didn't, because they don't agree with that sentiment. But they won't come to that realization because they don't want to engage in the facts. They would much rather engage in victim mentality and identity politics. So she continues by giving this unhinged rant about why we can't come together. Watch.
It is a common feature of authoritarianism and fascism that the nation is called to come together under the autocrat and accept that his incompetent lackeys are our betters. The idea that any random white guy or right-thinking woman with zero background is inherently superior to any Black person or woman, no matter how many degrees or qualifications they have, is a conceit of fascism and ethno-nationalism that, no, we cannot come together around. We cannot come together around mass deporting millions of immigrants and potentially separating families or throwing them into internment camps. We can't come together around kicking women or gay, bi, or trans people out of the military just because Macho Man weekend TV guys said so. Or around the idea of banning abortion and IVF nationwide and watching more women die from sepsis or more teenagers giving birth to rape babies. We cannot come together around Elon Musk, who runs an app infused with racism and misogyny and who gamed that app to sway an election and now essentially co-owns a president alongside Vladimir Putin. We cannot come together around the United States becoming the junior partner to Russia, and the handmaid to letting Bibi Netanyahu and his right-wing religious fanatics destroy what's left of the Palestinian people.
In all of that long, unhinged rant wasn't one grain of truth. But again, these people aren't interested in the truth. They're not interested in being objective. They're interested in propaganda and fear-mongering. Trump said that he's going to ban abortions nationwide, even though there's not a shred of evidence that that's true. Apparently, the U.S. is now junior partners to Russia, without one shred of evidence of that being true. Elon Musk bought an app that was actively suppressing conservative viewpoints and just promoting false democratic propaganda. And now that he's opened it up and made it a free speech platform, it's somehow a place for hate and misinformation. People who break our laws and come into this country illegally shouldn't be deported. Israel's trying to exterminate the Palestinian people. I mean, everything that she said is not true, but she tells it to her audience as if it is. And this is why these people are so scared and so fearful and want to cut off family members. If they think that they're the good guys and the other guys are evil Hitler Nazis, then why would they even want to engage with them or be around them? And that's the message that they're trying to purport to their audience. And it's so bad. If Joy Reid wants to be deranged and miserable, then that's her prerogative. But her trying to destroy the lives of the 7 people who watch her show is despicable. And I hope that MSNBC fires her, seeing as her ratings have tanked over 50% since the election. But you guys let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Make sure you like this video if you have not already. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a video. And I will see you guys in the next one.